friends. This is another episode of Empire of Lies, where we discuss manipulation and disinformation in the Russian media. The Great Game without Europe. How Russian television is heralding a return to a world of great powers. In the new episode of the Kremlin's political theatre, everything is like in the old chronicles. The Great Game is on screen, but the meaning in the title is literal. Russia is once again drawing a world map where the fate of the continent is decided by two people, Moscow and Washington, while Europe is relegated to the role of spectator. Yesterday's conversation between Putin and Trump is being presented as a diplomatic breakthrough. An unexpected call, a serious result, the summit in Budapest. Behind these phrases lies more than just television propaganda, but an attempt to restore the Kremlin's familiar coordinate system. All important decisions are made over Europe without Europe, and the Ukrainian war is just a bargaining chip. 1. The return of big politics, two powers, one continent. The program constructs a narrative with Cold War logic, two leaders, two superpowers, one stage. The choice of Budapest as the meeting venue is presented as a symbol of a new era. Orban becomes a peacemaker, Hungary an island of sovereignty, and the European Union a humiliating quasi-state. This framework creates a clear picture of the world, where Europe is not a subject, but a territory of influence. Russian viewers are instilled with the feeling of returning to the major league. After sanctions, isolation, and war, Moscow is back in the game. But European viewers, if they happen to hear this signal, are offered a different message. Get used to the fact that you are no longer being questioned. Thus, television is testing the old model of legitimacy. Peace as a treaty of the strong. Not the UN, not the EU, not international law, but personal meetings, direct lines, symbols of mutual understanding between those who, according to the Kremlin, are the real decision makers. 2. Europe as the losing side. From the very first minutes of the program, The Great Game repeats the mantra, the European Union is being humiliated, the US is putting pressure, Europe is losing its subjectivity. This isn't just propaganda mockery. It's an attempt to impose a sense of powerlessness on Europe as a natural state. The TV presenter says bluntly, Europe is left out of the game. Essentially, this is a ready-made ideological formula, where Brussels is not only excluded from decision-making, but also turned into a convenient culprit. Globalists, destroyers of sovereignty, a terrorist organization. Thus, Moscow creates an enemy that is easy to combat rhetorically and to which a reasonable Budapest can be countered. This is a mirror image of Kremlin logic. Anything that limits absolute power is declared external control. Thus, the European Union, the symbol of a negotiated Europe, becomes a bogeyman on Russian airwaves, preventing real leaders from negotiating directly. Moreover, as I understand it, quite a few topics have accumulated for personal discussion between heads of state Putin and Trump. One thing is clear here. The European Union is in a humiliating position. It is being humiliated. And judging by the reaction of European politicians yesterday, this is, in fact, a medical fact. It is also no secret that the European Union is being deliberately humiliated by the United States. Because the United States needs the European Union not as an association that spends money on Ukraine, but as an association that will join the US alliance against China. And at this stage, the US is consistently pursuing this point of view, this position. The European Union should now adopt a more or less balanced approach and support for Ukraine. 3. The summit as a blow to the globalists, the myth of sovereignty. One of the most notable passages of the program is the assertion that the meeting in Budapest is a colossal humiliation for the globalists in the European Union, and a shake to the foundations of the pseudo-state. To applause, this idea is transformed into a credo. Europe, built on compromises and institutions, is declared a terrorist system, and Russia and the United States are the bearers of genuine sovereignty. This construct holds the key to understanding the modern Kremlin worldview. Sovereignty is opposed to interdependence, force to law, and leadership to institutions. Television is reproducing the old geopolitical formula, where dialogue is a flexing of muscle, and negotiations are a continuation of war by other means. Such a world is convenient for those accustomed to measuring influence not by standards, but by the radius of its impact. 4. Ukraine as expendable, Hungary as a symbol. There is no talk of any equality. Ukraine in the narrative is a backdrop, a tool, trapped between the US and Russia. Zelensky is portrayed as a player in someone else's drama, either forced to provide dirt on Biden or himself a pawn. The only EU country allowed to play an active role is Hungary. In the Great Game, Hungary is not just a summit venue, but an alternative to Europe. It's Orban as the embodiment of sovereignty against globalism, national interest against the Brussels dictatorship. You've been on Empire of Lies. See you soon.